Well, hey there, and welcome to a bunch of videos from our fascinating multiplayer campaign of Hearts of Iron 4. I am Captain Easy, and this is the Carnage Group. We have played HoI3 for ages, and those of you who have been around may recognize us from back in the day when everything was not YouTube. Anyway, this is Hearts of Iron 4, and our playstyle is slow and thorough. That's how we like it. However, I'll keep a much faster pace for you guys, but we'll stop and analyze certain events. I hope you like it as much as we do, and feel free to comment. As you can see, Germany will be the focus as I'm playing it. I have never played Germany in HoI4 multiplayer before, so expect some hiccups along the way. We'll jump right into mid-1939 and just days before Danzig or war. Let's first get you up to speed with events in the east. Nationalist China has already capitulated, but the peace conference turned into a drinking party and the partitioning became, well, less than optimal. There's still ongoing battles in communist China, but it's more of a mopping up. Still, I'm not sure what the weird peace in China will mean for the long game. And just a few things about my build-up. I'm trying out a few heavy tractor divisions with regular infantry in the hopes that the Allies won't be able to penetrate them. I'm also putting a lot of effort in my BF-109s. The D version is quite upgraded and I've built tons of them, which you can see in the production line. But is it enough? Well, we'll see. 5 factories in the heavies is not that much, but I don't want to build too many, because they will suck in the long game. You can see that I have also a good production of medium armor, the Panzer IIIs. However, it's a very young production line, so the bulk will come when we are somewhat into the fighting. Lastly, there's not too much going on into the Navy. It's mostly U-boats at this stage, but I know that the Italians are producing a lot more, so we might see some action in the Mediterranean. So let's dive straight into the action. As we are only 3 versus 3 in this game, there's only the AI on Poland. That means the Polish campaign and Fall Vice will not be all too interesting in itself. But it depends, of course, on what UK and France will do. Now, as you can see, I have a bit of protection in the northern ports and also a heavy tractor on training close to Bremen. But it seems the Allies are not planning any amphibious activity just yet, so we can roll on in Poland without having to bother about the Allies, it seems. Here you can see roughly a week into Fall Vice, the armor spearhead is closing in on Warsaw. There's issue with fuel and supply, obviously, but not enough to be a significant problem. Also, Hungary joined the Axis. Welcome. Alright, so we are pushing ahead into mid of July. No big surprises, really. Let's check the armor units here. You can see all the materials there in my division. The armored support vehicles is to my armored maintenance company. I think they are quite useful. Alright, let's check up the north. Is light armor. No, you're going south to Warsaw. So what are the Allies up to, really, in all of this? Well, nothing really. No ground troops, no amphib, no bombing runs. My newest wings of BF-109s can continue to practice. And not too much resistance in the air in Poland either. I have a bunch of BF-109s in action. Seems to be only Polish planes trying to defend. Probably not too dangerous. Well, Fall Vice is likely to be over soon. The Allies is going for a Sitzkrieg. Alright, we have reached the 23rd of July 1939. 3 weeks into the war and Fall Vice is almost a wrap, unsurprisingly. And there we go, another 2 days later. It wasn't the fastest campaign, but I had no immediate rush. I must admit I made a small mistake on the focus tree, so I was a little bit late with the around the Maginot focus, so there was no point in rushing to the West Front really. 10th of August. Yes, of course, a deal with the Nazis is something you can always trust and depend upon. The Soviets are our friends, for now. You can also see I've started to line up towards the west. Vortrefflich. The war in China is over and there's peace in Japan. For the moment. But as you recall, the peace conference with nationalist China was a mess Japan need to deal with at some point. Nevertheless, this war can drag on for quite some time, so we have to be happy that it's over. So now the Japanese player can prepare in peace for what's to come. So here we go, the 26th of August, roughly a month after the capitulation of the Poles. As you can see, I have lined up with quite weak forces, not showing my armor yet. I think the Allies at this point had not seen my heavies at all. Telamon, you are the UK player. Feel free to comment. Did you see the heavy armors, or were they still a surprise to you? So the question now is if the Allies will fight in the Netherlands, or will they wait? Well, they will wait. Sitzkrieg again. Nothing in the air whatsoever. But I must say it's quite understandable. With no declaration of war on Belgium, this is quite a difficult spot for the Allies to be in. This also means that the battle for the Netherlands will be swift and uneventful. The Netherlands was defeated in a week, but now comes the real deal. French and British units are most certainly lined up by the Belgian border, ready to rush in and take defensive positions. So how far will I get before I get stuck, and how will the balance in the air war turn out? Sadly, I'm making a huge mistake here. Can you see it? I was trusting the AI to line up to save time, and I didn't realize the stupidity. Well, we'll get back to that if you can't see it. So let's instead zoom in on the Battle of Ghent. Axis has aerial superiority, but are also faced with shore bombardment. So it's a chaotic battlefield, you have to see it in front of you. But as you can see, my light armor has really good stats for killing infantry, and the heavy armor less so, but the Belgian infantry cannot penetrate the heavy armor, so doing only 50% damage, making the division quite robust. So pretty much as I planned it. 4 days into the Battle of Belgium, and 12th of September. Along eastern and north Belgium, lands were quickly captured and the Belgian defenders thrown back in disarray. Now, however, French and British forces have reached the fronts and bolstered the torn Belgian lines. An unwelcome change for the Germans. In Ghent, the panzers failed to dislodge the stout Belgian defenders before Allied reinforcement arrived, destroying any hopes of a quick breakthrough. And it is now I realize my mistake. There's a frigging sound. I cannot retreat and I cannot bring in reinforcements to those armor. I must admit I never really noticed it in single player. And now I will eventually lose 3 out of 5 armor divisions. And it's a major blow as infantry has so low breakthrough values. So this is really, really bad. So how is the situation in the air after 5 days of fighting then? Allies has a slight numerical lead when it comes to fighters. As you can see, almost 3,500 planes of all types are in the air. But let's look at the stats. The efficiency is quite high on both sides with a slight upper hand for Germany. But it is the air detection where you can find a huge difference. While Axis has 70%, Allies has only 19% at this point. This means that even if the number of planes in the air is similar, more Axis planes actually find the enemy and can engage. If you look on the right-hand side at the losses, you can see that Allies so far is losing fighters at a ratio of about 3-1 versus the Axis. You can also see that the available Allied bombers are making 0 damage on the German troops. Axis bombers, however, are finding targets. and I will definitely need that. A week later, and the isolated German armor is under attack by the coast. Allies will take some hard casualties here, but will eventually win. Along the rest of the front line, there's fierce battles, but the going is slow and it's grinding. Only in the east, around Arlon, are the Wehrmacht making progress. Even more planes of all types are pouring into the Belgian airspace. The two parties are using everything they have to gain the advantage. Well, at least I am. The Allies are taking horrendous losses though, still on a 3-to-1 ratio, as you can see. As exemplified in the battle for Antwerp, the breakthrough value of the German infantry is way too weak to efficiently dislodge the mixture of Allied troops who are dug in here, and casualties are mounting. Fortunately for Erich von Manstein and his troops, the Allied forces are constantly plagued by aerial bombardment, pulverizing the city and its defenders. Now it's the 11th of October, about a month into the attack of Belgium and France. Arlon and Sedan has been taken in the east, but the Germans have great difficulties to really hurt the defenders being well dug in on the southern side of the River Meuse. You know, historically, crossing the River Meuse quickly was key to Fall Gelb, the Wehrmacht's successful plan to trap the Allies in Belgium. For me, however, lacking much of my armor, this will be impossible. Instead, I have to rely on grinding battles, and you see the battle for Antwerp and Brussels still rage on. Ruined cities by now, filled with the dead, the dying and the doomed. The constant air battles and the terrible losses, especially on the Allied side, is tipping the balance. The amount of Allied fighters have dropped from its all-time recorded high of 1,330 to exactly 1,000, while the amount of Axis fighters actually having increased somewhat. And this is clearly not sustainable for the Allies. So both sides are taking severe bomber losses as well, with a difference that the Allied bombers make practically no damage. It's a wasted effort, it seems. All right, so here we are, the 31st of October. You see it's paused. This is because we are just finished the gaming session and I'm looking at the save file to sort of analyze the situation I'm in. Let's begin with a sort of air situation. You see that the Allied fighters is down to 900, so they're losing continuously. If you look at the kind of planes they are having, you see it's mostly bad planes. They have 390 of Spitfires 1A. I suspect that is an upgraded version that Telemann has been creating. I don't see any Hurricanes. Where are the Hurricanes? I wonder, Telemann, did you not build Hurricanes and just wait until you had researched Spitfire and then upgraded them and then produced as many as you could? If you look at the German side of things, you see only Bf 109s and quite a lot, 824 of the D version, which are quite upgraded and good airplanes. Telemann, please give your views on this. Well, the land situation is bad, so I really need the air situation to work out to my in a good way, because you see these combats are going slowly. I have some armor coming up. My last of these heavy tank divisions is coming very soon, but the medium armor are the good ones, and they are on their way, but it will take some time. I don't know if I have that time. We'll see. What do you think, dear viewers? How would you act in this situation, considering the circumstances? I am a little bit at loss, but I hope it will work out. Just very shortly, Italy hasn't been helping too much on the European front. Whenever they have been attacking, because they are at war, their stats has been terrible. But as you can see, they have been active in Africa, taking quite a lot of lands without too much combat. They won't take Suez right now, but maybe they can kill a bunch of Allied troops here. The supply situation is not that good yet, but it might work out better. You see that the Italians have some planes in the area, while the Allies don't have any planes, because they are up in Benelux. Anyway, I hope you like this first installment and you are ready for more, because more will come. There will be more live clips coming up, but I actually had some hiccups with the software this time around. Please share your thoughts. The format is still in an early phase and will probably be developed along the way. Thanks for now.